Hey YouTube, it's Magician34, and I've got my next gen, sort of my version 2 of Chaos Dragons for you. This is a little more meta. It's 3 copies of Light Pulsar Dragon. This is the amazing card of the deck, obviously. If you don't know what he does, definitely look him up. 2 copies of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. You really don't need more than that. 2 copies of Dark Flare Dragon. It's not necessarily because his effect is so good, but he's mainly just as another way to Chaos Summon. He can be fodder to get Darkness Metal out on the field. He's also another Dark Monster, which this deck kind of has a little trouble getting the Dark Monsters usually for Chaos Summons. The Light Monsters are easy enough, it's the Dark ones that are hard to get. Blackluster Soldier, of course. And Chaos Sorcerer. Just one Chaos Sorcerer. He's dark and he Chaos Summons and blah blah blah, and he can remove, which is always good. And that's the body of your Chaos Summon monsters. We got 2 Eclipse Wyvern. Just 2. I think 3 is kind of excessive. You don't really need to search more than just the 2 times, and these are easy to get, easy to find. So I'm just running the 2. 1 copy of Dark Arm Dragon, because he's an Eclipse target. And he's easy enough to summon. 1 copy of Judgment Dragon. Once again, you're going to search him, so you don't really need more than 1. Lightsworns, we're running 3 copies of Lila, Lightsworn Sorceress, mainly because she destroys spells and traps, and she can force out cards like Solemn Warning and whatnot, and she also mills 3 cards at a shot, which makes her kind of your ideal Lightsworn. A little different from the usual, I'm actually running 2 Luminas instead of 1. I tried it both ways and ran a little bit of playtesting, but I like 2 because it gives me access to the rank 3 Ixies pretty regularly, and it can also get me Lila, which is good, and I don't always have to have charge to go get her, basically. The second Lila is another out to Lila, basically, and that triple mill at the end of your turn is very useful, plus discarding out of the hand is really useful, so there's not really a reason not to run the 2, I found. Also running 2 copies of Raikou, mainly just because he mills 3, but he can also be Destruction. He's a good monster to have in your opening hand, especially if you're going first. 1 copy of Erin, she mills 3, and she's a different named Lightsworn. Jane, she's a good Lightsworn to bring back with Lumina if you need to, say, run over a Thunder King or something that's in your way. She also does some ready milling, which is nice. Card Trooper, we're just running the 1 copy of him. He's good early game, but later in the game he's not as useful, but there you go. Just running the standard 1 Card Trooper for this build. 1 Plague Spreader Zombie. This guy can really do some awesome tricks. Doesn't matter if he's milled or if you draw him, he's good both ways, and he likes to play with Light Pulsar and whatnot, and we'll get into that with the extra deck. 1 copy of Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness. This guy can be very useful, especially when you get those slower hands, where you can feign getting a slower hand in order to get you some serious power on the field. Plus, he's dark. Also running 2 copies of Tragoedia. Good beat stick, helps you Ixies. Just a good way to stop your opponent. In a lot of ways, he acts just like Gorz. Plus, he's dark. So that's the end of your dark suite, basically. We have 1 Honest. He's a good hand trap, and a lot of your monsters that are going to be sitting on the field are light. He really likes Lila and Lumina, assuming they're in attack mode, of course. So he's good to run in the deck. Also, 1 copy of Effect Veiler. I found 2 is kind of jamming up and not being as useful. This deck is all about aggression and speed, so a defensive card like Effect Veiler, really you're not wanting the multiples on it. I found it just gave me inconsistent and slower hands, so I'm just running the 1. And that's a huge monster sweep, but now we're moving on to spells. 1 Future Fusion, obviously you go get 5-headed dragon and puke 5 dragons into your grave. It's almost like a win condition by itself just to activate it. Very powerful card there, pretty standard. Charge of the Light Brigade, obviously, mills 3, gets you 1 of your Lightsworns, helps you be consistent. 3 copies of Solar Recharge, just 1 more way you can pack in that grave and make sure your deck is consistent, plus drawing those cards never hurts. 1 copy of Allure of Darkness. Removing the darks isn't always that great, but drawing those cards more than compensates, so it's that consistency right there is what it is. Monster Reborn, obviously this is a great card, gets your Darkness Metal back, gets your Light Pulsar back, there's just no end to how useful that card is in every deck. I do have an unusual choice here, but I found in my testing so far it's actually been really good. I'm running 1 copy of DDR, Different Dimension Reincarnation. The discard is nice, but I find a lot of times I'm removing stuff and I don't have a use for it. Return from the Different Dimension is too easy of an MST bait, the end phase and stuff like that, and it's easy heavy storm target as well in that game 1. This card's a little bit more reliable. Yeah, MST can still mess it up, but a lot of times you'd be surprised they don't MST it. In games 2 and 3, they're not even maining it. They've already sided it out anyway. So it's a really interesting choice. I can get my Darkness Metal back this way is basically the play, but if I have to remove a Light Pulsar or something, I can also use this to do tricks with it. I found it to be a really useful card. It's worth a playtest. Dark Hole. Basically just because it's Dark Hole. It doesn't necessarily synergize with the deck terrifically well, but I mean Light Pulsar is okay with it, but yeah, it's basically just here because it's Dark Hole. Heavy Storm helps you keep those back rows away and go off. And we're also running 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. The triple Lila kind of makes the third one a little pointless, and you want to keep speed up, so drawing multiples of this isn't always good, so we're just running the 2. That brings us to the extra deck. We're running 1 copy of Stardust Dragon, 1 copy of Scrap Dragon, and 1 copy of Void Ogre Dragon. This guy is Plague Spreader plus Light Pulsar, basically, and emptying your hand isn't too hard, and this guy's basically a Xian. Except he's a 3000 Xian, which is pretty awesome. Plus he's a dragon, so you can bring him back with Darkness Metal Dragon later if you need to. These guys can be made either with Light Pulse or Plague Spreader, or you can also go Gore as an Effect Veiler if you need to, or another 1-star tuner off Monster Reborn. We got Black Rose Dragon. If you need to sink for 7, he's a dragon target. And also Ancient Sacred Wyvern. You can use one of your 6-star monsters with Veiler or a Monster Reborn 1-star tuner, which will probably be Veiler anyway. And this thing is just an amazing amount of push, but remember it's not a dragon, it's actually a fairy. So bear that in mind. We are running 1 copy of Brynak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, and he too sadly is a Sea Serpent, not a dragon. But it's just his effect. On the rare occasion you will be sinking for 6, you want to be sinking for this guy probably. And the discard is a good thing in this deck. Our only 5-star is Ally of Justice Catastor. That speaks for itself. I am running Armory Arm. You can run Iron Chain Dragon over him. In a lot of ways, it's kind of one way or the other. The Iron Chain gives you a 6-star target that's a dragon, but I think in a lot of cases that's not that crucial. I like Armory Arm's ability to make your big dragons actually deal damage when they run things over and ensure lethality. Like if I flip summon my Raikou, pop something, I can bring back my Plague Spreader, make Armory Arm, and make a big damage push. So that's why I'm including Armory Arm. We got number 39 Utopia, Exceeding for 4, he's your light target basically. He can be defensive, but that's not why he's there mainly. We also have Maestroke, the Symphony Djinn, he's your 4-star dark monster basically, but his effect is also of course really good. And I've wound up Zen Maester, basically because this guy can guaranteed ditch one of your materials to the yard right off. Maestroke will usually be the one you want to go for, but I want to keep this guy in mind just in case. And on the off chance you see like a side-decked Cookie Mirror Drago or something, obviously, I mean, he's a good choice then. But primarily he's so that you can instantly ditch that material if you need to, and it's not contingent on things like Maestroke, as he always works. We have Wind Up Zenmane as your one of your rank 3s. Levier the Sea Dragon, obviously. Good rank 3 target. Lets you reabuse stuff. Number 17 Leviathan Dragon, basically because it allows you to Xyz into a dragon, which can let your Darkness Metal go off. And last but not least, of course, we have our 1 copy of 5-Headed Dragon, who's our Feature Fusion target. So, there you go, and that's pretty meta with just 1 or 2 tweaks Chaos Dragon deck. Very, very playable. You can take it to your local or even a regional or something, and you should do very well. So anyway, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and check out my channel for more cool videos.